This section of trail from Lake Tahoe to Lassen Park took about 3 weeks. I said goodbye to my friends at Lake Tahoe, and I headed north. I noticed there are fewer hikers on the trail in this section. The walking was easier, there was less snow, fewer and easier water crossings, so I began to listen to more audiobooks and podcasts on my phone. I had 4 resupplies. My first was Sierra City, where I spent one night. Then I went to Belden Town, where I spent another night. I made it to Quincy for 2 nights in a motel. My final resupply was in the town of Drakesbad, which is really just a lodge inside of Lassen Park, where I spent a night in the campground, enjoyed the pool and the restaurant. I saw lots of deer on this section, and I had lots of mild weather. Plumas National Forest. There's where I'm going. About half an hour ago I got stung by some flying insects when I sat down. I sat down to take a break on a log. And about 5 minutes later, I got attacked by some flying insects. I didn't get a good look at them, but I sure felt them. I got stung twice on my left leg and once on my left arm. So I skedaddled out of there pretty quickly. It still stings a little bit half an hour later. Anyway, day after tomorrow I should be coming into Quincy. I have a hitchhike into Quincy. I'm about, I guess, 3 days out of Sierra City. I haven't seen a whole lot of hikers, to tell you the truth. Most of the hikers I've seen have been southbounders. I think I've gotten a few glimpses of Mount Lassen in the distance. It's got some snow on it. So today I was hoping to do 20 miles, my first 20-mile day for a long time, but I'll probably end up doing pretty close to 2019.8 or something like that. Got kind of discouraged last night. I actually thought about quitting when I was laying in my tent. My right foot was aching, throbbing from the plantar fasciitis. Then I remembered someone said, wait a day. You know, don't quit, wait for a day after you think about it for a day. So I will give it a day, but I also thought about maybe going to see a doctor while I'm in Quincy. I'm afraid though that he's going to tell me I have to get off the trail. So I might just take a zero in Quincy, you know. I'm not planning to make it to Canada, just as far north as I can. Some of these people I see here are really rushing. There was one person that was hiking or camping close to me this morning, got up and was on the trail by 6 a.m. and they didn't even get into camp last night till about 9 p.m. It was dark. I heard them setting up their tent, and then this morning they were gone while it was still kind of dark. But that actually kind of encouraged me to get an early start, which I did. I actually was on the trail by 6:20, which is much earlier than I've been starting. And that's why I thought I could get in 20 miles today, which I probably could if there was a campsite at 20 miles, but the campsite is 19.8. So this is September 2nd. I've been on the trail for something like 112 days now. I've got my routine down pretty much in the morning, how I get dressed, make breakfast, put everything in my pack. Today I started hiking at 7:20 in the morning, which is kind of late considering the fact that I used to start out at 6:30 or 6. The days are going shorter, so there's not as much time during the day to hike, hence fewer miles. Yesterday I think I did 16 something, which is typical now. And today I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be getting close to Lassen tomorrow. I'll be in Lassen Park in my resupply. So I'm looking forward to going to Drakesbad, where I can actually take a shower, charge up my phone, and resupply with the food package I sent there when I was in Reno a couple weeks ago at Sarah's house. I reached the halfway mark yesterday, 1,325 miles, and there were 6 other hikers there. We had a little party. Somebody had brought some beers, and so that was pretty much fun. We just sat and talked, ate, and drank at the halfway marker. There's actually a marker, a post in the ground saying halfway to Canada. Yeah, it was pretty cool. There were 6 other people there. They were all southbounders. I was the only northbounder. And I know I'm not going to make it all the way to Canada. I'm thinking now maybe I'll make it to Crater Lake, as far north as I can. It's September 3rd. This is Terminal Geyser in Lassen National Park behind me. I took a little side detour, about 3/10 of a mile, to see this geyser. It's in a national park, the Lassen National Park, so it's protected by the federal government. Unlike the geysers where I live, which are commercialized to turn into electricity. This one will probably never do that. But I'm glad I made this little side trip. I camped outside of the park last night, hiked into the park this morning. I'll spend the day in the park. I'm going to Drakesbad, where I got my resupply package. Also, I can get a hot meal there, take a shower, and go swimming in a pool which is heated by these geothermal springs here. Had a good night last night. Met someone who has a mutual friend from Australia, so that was kind of fun. Anyway, today's going to be an easy day, probably only about 5 miles. Resupply day, Nero. Looking forward to it.